Avengers Endgame. We're really excited to deliver the spoiler review for you guys. So this is going to be a spoiler-filled review. Big spoiler warning. So if you haven't seen it, this is your final warning. This is a spoiler review. So I'll get us kicked off. Actually, before I start my review, let us introduce you guys to the cast. We've got editor-in-chief for the podcast, Ziggler.
Hey, what's up, man? This movie was fucking crazy.
I know, can't wait to dive into it. And we've got Father Suplex himself, Shawn.
I am the inevitable.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of callbacks for sure. And we've got Tyler.
What's up? What's up?
What up? What up? And of course, Hound.
We survived the end game.
I guess so, yeah. And as always, I am your host, Syed. And let's kick off this review for Avengers Endgame. Now, of course, this is a culmination of 11 years of storytelling. And you know what, man? This really
Also,
felt
want to
like...
point out this is a spoiler review, so
Spoiler.
Wait,
if
wait,
you haven't,
we've
if
covered
you haven't
this.
seen
It's
it
gonna be in
yet,
the title.
Yeah, don't
Get
get
out
mad.
if you haven't.
Don't get mad in the comments, all right? But yeah, this is 11 years of culmination. Like, that's freaking crazy. 22 movies. No franchise has ever done it. So Marvel had big shoes to fill. Like, if this movie went raw, like, it would not be a good look on them. And I'm happy to tell everybody that this movie delivered and more. It honestly, it exceeded my expectations. So I'm just gonna go through the moments that really, because this movie was a lot of movie. I'm just gonna say that, like, moments after moments. Uh, during the first act, when everybody's just, being upset and like just being sad about what happened and stuff, it's slow there, but it's slow for a reason, and it gets to a point where it's an epic storytelling ending that everybody understands. So I'm just gonna start with my moments, because you know even if this wasn't a cohesive in some places, it had moments that are just engraved in your brain if you've seen it, of course. So the moments for me that really hold a special place in my heart is, of course, the big one, the one that everybody in my theater cheered for, and it was probably one of the loudest reaction I've ever witnessed. Captain America holding Thor's hammer as Thor gets his old hammer back when he goes back in time and gets it, and Captain America was able to hold it when he's fighting Thanos, which is like crazy. Like the pose he made when he grabbed the hammer and he cocked it back, that was one of the most badass shots in cinema history. Like, I will never forget that moment. Like, I want a screenshot of that, and I'm gonna keep replaying that moment again and again. Uh, the other one that really impressed me and was really one of the most emotional parts of the movie. I gotta be honest, I cried. Like, I bawled my eyes out for this one. I wasn't trying to, but it just happened. Iron Man sacrificing himself, and Sean's favorite moment, saying, "I am Iron Man," and snapping Thanos away. Just crazy. And of course, he couldn't take that power and just died from all that power from the gauntlet. It was one of the most emotional moments. The godfather of the MCU, Robert Downey Jr., turning in an amazing performance. Uh, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, it's just
Getting choked
crazy.
up.
A little bit, yeah. Uh, yeah. It's one of those things,
It's alright, Syed.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I said no crying. I'm gonna follow that too. It's one of those moments where it's like your heroes lived up to their expectations, are actually going out uh, in a very noble way. He saved everybody and he died. And I think, I don't know, man. Like, I would have liked to see him alive, but I understand. and he made the ultimate sacrifice, and it was absolutely amazing. Uh, Other than that, of course, Avengers Assemble, the wide shot, everybody running towards the Chitauri and Thanos, absolutely killer shot, man. It's one of those shots you only kind of see in comic book panels. Everybody fighting,
Yes.
all the characters you can ever imagine, just there. Amazing shot. Also, one of the things I'll always remember from this movie. A lot of the moments in this movie are really engraved in my brain because sometimes you gotta watch a movie twice to remember stuff. But this movie, one time you watch it, you gotta watch it again, but you'll always remember even if you watched it once. Uh, Another big surprise for me, and I know a lot of people are gonna have a lot of jokes for this one. Fat Thor. So, of course, they find Thanos early in the movie, actually very early in the movie, and Thor goes for the head this time and actually just decapitated Thanos right away, which is a bit
On screen.
anticlimactic. It felt a bit like what, but you could kind of understand where Thor was coming from. He couldn't wait. He had to go for the head this time.
At
And
first, I thought he was using the Reality Stone to make it look like like what he did with Gamora in Infinity
right,
War.
Yep, me too.
wouldn't
I was waiting
wouldn't
for it.
wouldn't
I
that be
didn't think
something?
that at all. I
Right.
really thought that was a real. I didn't think it was any joke. Like
Yeah.
a
I was
twist.
waiting for it.
Like Thanos got decapitated on screen. You saw his head
I
fall
know.
off his body. That was
When he chopped up Thanos's
head.
hand, I was like,
Oh yeah, that was.
holy shit. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
They-
it's
Like,
so
this is way
intense.
too
Like,
easy.
That
Like,
was crazy when he chopped off his hand. I was like,
They're
oh
like-
my god, they're going all out.
They're like, hey, you killed our friends, you get no mercy, man. But you can
Yeah, man.
understand where Thor is coming from, like when
And then-
he's
Yeah,
goes
Thor
all
finally went for the head.
yeah, but
yeah, 21 days later, all Thanos dies.
yeah, I guess so. It's crazy. And of course Thor goes into this depression mode and surprisingly becomes Fat Thor, which was deep. I know there's a lot of surprises in this movie, like a lot of things that you didn't expect and didn't even hear in the prediction. But Fat Thor is something I never thought I would see in an MCU
I mean,
movie.
I get it. He's depressed. When you're depressed, you overeat sometimes. That
Right.
Melted
happens.
ice cream.
Chug all that
Trust me,
beer.
I've been there.
I loved it,
I've
man.
been there many times. I understand what Thor's going through.
Yeah.
Same.
And it's one of those things that really make it's like Thor is still carrying that momentum from Thor Ragnarok. He's still on fire. Like he still keeps delivering these character beats and it's absolutely crazy. And yeah, Fat Thor was hilarious. The time he was telling the story of Thor the Dark World, I thought it was freaking hilarious. It's when he was talking about how like, oh, uh Jane has the uh stone inside her. They gotta get it out. The only person in the room that really enjoyed that story was Ant-Man, and I was like,
And me.
he was like, yeah, I love this.
yeah, I was like,
He was like in the
Ant-Man,
dark elves. Ooh.
dude. I was like Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was like a little kid,
Right, I was
getting told a story.
Ant-Man is pretty much me in that situation. Speaking of Ant-Man, that's actually the next point in my script.
Ant-Man was the
Paul
key.
Paul Rudd, man, he's way too likable. Like, he really, I think they gave him a lot of the comedic load in this movie, and I think he really delivered. The stuff with him was fascinating. Pretty much, if you think about it, he's kind of the reason they're even in this position, because now he came out of the quantum realm after 5 hours for him, but it was actually 5 hours, 5 years in reality, which of course helped our heroes figure out how to fix the timeline and get their friends and family back.
Around save the universe.
Right, the
Mickey Mouse.
right.
Yep, Doctor Strange saw this happen.
I guess so. Yeah. Doctor Strange has seen the movie 14 million times, so he knows a lot.
Definitely.
He's seen
Yeah.
alternate endings 14 million times.
True. That man is lucky. And of course, the big returns after they get all the stones back. Hulk snaps because Hulk is the only one at that moment powerful enough to hold it and withstand the strength of the gauntlet. And they bring back uh, everybody. Well, everybody doesn't come back until like the middle of the final battle, but it was great seeing everybody you ever could imagine from MCU being in the movie. Uh, yeah, so yeah, Spider-Man, Black Panther, like uh, Wasp, so like everybody's here. Like it's crazy. Like I said, it just felt like
Korg and Mick.
oh yeah, Korg too. Yeah, like so many characters like you can ever think of. Like it's one of those things. It's something you think of like it's like a fantasy. Like oh, all my favorite characters in one place, fighting it out, battling it out, and it's actually happening on screen. It's absolutely crazy. Another thing I wanted to mention about the movie was it actually when they went back in time, they went back to very many different places in the MCU. Of course, they went back to the 2012 uh, New York invasion. I liked how they got the same shot from Avengers 1 in there. It was like, oh snap, I know what's going on. They're back in time. That was pretty cool. They went back to 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Thor: The Dark World, which of course not a lot of people's favorite movie, but I think what this movie did was make these other MCU movies feel even cooler. Like it's a feeling of the interconnectedness, and it's like how every movie is important. And this movie even made like Thor: The Dark
Even
World
the
a
bad
movie.
one.
Right. Even a bad movie like well, bad on paper, I guess. Thor: The Dark World actually feel important, which is very impressive. Another moment I really liked was, of course, Captain Marvel getting her ass handed to her by Thanos. Took took the Power Stone and punched the shit out of her. Like that was awesome. Really liked that scene. Uh, Another point I wanted to make was so many cameos, so many small appearances from so many actors. Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, Michelle Pfeiffer,
I'm
Robert
surprised
Redford.
that. Yeah, I'm surprised that they got Robert Redford back. That man retired from acting like last year, I believe.
I
Really?
mean, hey man, when the Disney paycheck comes in, you come in right away.
Yeah.
And him being
Hail
there
Hydra.
I'm also surprised that they got Natalie Portman back. I was like, what the
Oh
hell?
yeah, yeah,
for like
they actually did.
30 seconds of
Yeah,
screen
but
time.
still, she was still back though.
I know that's
I
crazy.
was really surprised with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John.
I thought it was old footage, but then it showed like she was actually credited in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. John Slattery came back. One of my favorite actors. Mad Men shout out. Uh, yeah, it's like seeing everybody from a lot of people, not everybody, because like they left out some characters, but like Crossbones too. Like seeing a lot of these characters
Yeah.
that you're like,
And the
oh,
kid from Iron Man 3.
yeah, it's like basically the movie was rewarding you for remembering the characters from that old movie. Oh, I remember him from Winter Soldier. Oh, I remember him from this, that. Uh, so it's one of those things that Russo brothers are really good at, keeping the audience engaged and kind of like doing these Easter eggs in a way like you try to break it down every time you watch the movie. I think Russo brothers are one of the best to do that kind of Easter egg hunting kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of great cameos. Yeah, other than that, so the last point I had was another cameo that I thought was really random but pretty funny was Ken Jeong being the guy who was the security guard, and people started laughing
Yeah,
automatically when they
everybody
saw
was
him.
laughing at my
Yeah, yeah.
theater.
I was like, wait, who is this? And then I looked closer. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, it's that guy.
Russo brothers actually have done that because he's from Community, the show that Russo brothers have
Also,
directed a couple of times.
Hangover.
Right. Yeah. So
Oh
they
yeah,
have.
the girl, the Helen from Drake and Josh was in Endgame as the
Yeah.
field
But
officer.
Nicole Brown.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
Russo
so
brothers.
crazy.
they they know how, because they've done this in the prior movies too. They bring back people they worked with before in small cameos, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, my final point for this movie, after giving you guys so much spoiler warning, even if you're here, I mean, you might as well just stick around. So my final point being for this movie is, for like 10 years now, uh, I've thought The Dark Knight was the best movie of all time. No movie was ever even was ever able to get close to it. Like, there was no true successor to it. Like, I couldn't put any other movie ahead of it. Uh, that changes now though. Avengers Endgame retires The Dark Knight, in my opinion, as the greatest comic book movie of all time. It wrestles with concept only a comic book fans for years had the pleasures of experiencing. This movie, like, basically culminated 11 years of fan service and amazing cinematic moments. And of course, you guys already know, like, you probably even knew this before I started my review. This movie gets a 10 out of 10 and my highest ranking all time classic. End of story. All right, so with that, let's move on to our cast for their review of Avengers Endgame. We're gonna go with Ziggler now. Go ahead, Ziggler.
All right, cool. And I just wanted to say before we get off the cameo thing, we can't forget Stan Lee's last ever cameo in an MCU
True.
movie.
Yeah, I was hoping
Yeah, he
somebody
was
would
the
bring it up.
eldest guy.
Yeah, everybody cheered and clapped for that, as
I
they
think
should.
I think he said something along
Yeah.
along the
I
lines
forgot
of
what he said, but
peace,
Rock and roll.
like peace and war. Do love, not peace, or something like that. I don't know what he
yeah,
said.
it was in the 70s, so
Yeah,
I thought that was like a random guy. I really didn't think it was Stan Lee until people started clapping.
yeah. I recognized from the mustache and the eyes. I was like, yeah, that's Stan. That
Yeah, I
makes sense.
recognized him.
Yeah, I
yeah, me
definitely.
too. Also, that final battle scene, man, that
Oof.
that final battle scene was just the most beautiful thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. It was just like Lord of the Rings mashed up with like 11 years of MCU continuity, and it was fucking perfection. I don't give a fuck. It was so glorious. That was the best comic book battle I've ever seen in my life, and it was just a beautiful ass scene. And my favorite scene of the movie, I have two. It's a tie between these two. I can't really pick. Is when Captain America wields Mjolnir, and then when Captain America says Avengers, and then he summons Mjolnir, and then he says assemble. I've been wanting him to say Avengers assemble for so goddamn long, and I'm so glad he finally said it. And Captain America is my favorite character, as you all know, and also love the scene with it was like a callback to the Winter Soldier, and the first movie that the Russos directed for the MCU, the Winter Soldier, when he was in the elevator with all Hydra agents, and this time he actually fucking said "Hail Hydra." It was fucking hilarious, and it was great. It was a great call back to the comics when he did it in the comics. So that was a funny ass scene though, and also shit. Captain America is my favorite character, and he has the best story and character arc in the MCU, in my opinion. And finally
Yes.
seeing, oh, that scared me. And finally seeing him with Peggy Carter, finally dancing with her at her house, it just made me so happy for him, and it just made me so happy that finally, after all these years, he's finally happy. He's with this girl. He's with the girl of his dreams.
He got
And
his last dance.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they more dance after that, but yeah, it was just beautiful. Cap's story arc finally ending, and it was just a beautiful movie too. And also, I know a lot of people didn't like this, but I liked Professor Hulk. I think he worked good. People maybe didn't like it, like he like just showed up randomly, like we didn't see his like transformation into it, but I don't care. I think he worked good. He was funny as hell. He was just dope as hell. I know Shawn didn't like it. Shawn, why didn't you like it?
I'll explain in my review.
Oh, okay then. But yeah, I like Professor Hulk. He definitely worked for me, and I, yeah, it was just great. And also, Syed, do not kill me. Please don't kill me. But this movie actually made me like Captain Marvel.
Yes,
Yeah,
me too. She's one of
yeah,
the
you know
coolest
what?
jumpers ever.
I'll give you. Well, it's the Russo brothers directing her. Of course, they're gonna
Yeah,
make her likable.
the Russos, yeah, the
They
Russos,
know her. They know
they
Captain
know
Marvel.
how to make a character look badass, and
Also,
I liked that the amount of screen time she had was perfect,
Yeah.
and I also loved her new haircut. I don't care.
Yes.
I was gonna say, nice
I
cut.
loved it.
Yeah, I loved her new haircut, and I just like Captain Marvel more in this movie, and it's surprising because Brie Larson said that she filmed Endgame before Captain Marvel. So I mean, go back to your Endgame roots, man.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't have anything else to say, but I was never once bored in this movie, and it's a 3-hour movie, and if you could never like once bore me like in a second in a 3-hour movie, that's a pretty great accomplishment. Like, were you guys ever bored in this movie?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
And,
no.
and they grabbed our attention for 3 goddamn hours, and we were never bored. And that that's fucking impressive. I mean,
I mean, maybe like it's like everyone's first time viewing it, and like obviously everyone's gonna be paying attention to like every single little thing. So maybe during the second viewing, people might find like the boring parts.
well, yeah, it was a little slow at first, but it had to be slow. It had to be slow, like to tell you like what the fuck was going on.
Like I
Like,
love the slow moments. I loved how it took so long to actually get to the time travel stuff.
yeah, me too. I was gonna say that, but thanks for
Oh,
interrupting me, cunt. Um,
I'm sorry.
but yeah, I love this. I loved how it was slow in the first act and just building you up to like the time travel, the time heist, and the time heist was really great. All right, I'm done.
And your score?
I'm doing this
Kind
off the
of.
top. I'm doing this off the top of my head because I really don't. I'm just gonna give it a. It's the best comic book movie I've ever seen, so I'll just give it a 9.6 out of 10.
Too low, too low, too low.
Hey, it's okay. I
No, you
I
can't
mean,
change it too late.
I can't give a movie a 10 out of 10 like unless it's like so perfect. I mean, this movie was fucking glorious. I know, but it wasn't perfect. I don't know. God.
It's okay. You know what? I'll take it.
I just
9.6.
fuck it, 9.8.
No, you said 9.6.
9.8. A 9.8 out of 10. I
9.6.
changed it.
I
9.8.
give it a
Syed,
9.5.
9.8.
Okay. Locked it. 9.8. Got it.
All right, 9.8. Thank you.
That's
Sounds
fair.
good.
Okay.
All right, Shawn, you want to give your review next?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So, I've never been more emotionally wrecked and floored, invested in a movie than this movie. And now everyone knows that Tony Stark is my absolute favorite. And, like, not just in Marvel, but in movie character of all time. And just, like, people that, like, just matter to me for because he's what I watched growing up and everything. It's more matters more to me than Josh Brolin and then to Kevin Owens, to anyone that I'm very high on. RDJ and Tony Stark has always been number one, and seeing that moment that I predicted, the only thing I wanted in the movie, where he would grab the stones. Well, he would actually. Where what I mostly wanted was the full circle of the I am Iron Man moment, and then seeing even more about him grabbing the stones, being able to snap his fingers and defeat Thanos in that matter. I mean, I know it's just a movie, but like, it's God, it even just making me so sad right now. But like, damn, like I'm even getting super choked up just thinking about it, 'cause it's just very disturbing to think and to see how fried and destroyed he was from that, but still so powerful on such an amazing moment, and seeing Pepper and Peter and Rhodey by his side, and seeing the true definition of a hero, a human being, yes, a man in a suit of armor, but a regular man who his superpower was his mind and of his ability to create the suit. And he, the leader of this whole Marvel universe, was able to defeat the biggest villain out there. It was so perfect for me as a fan and someone who loves this character so much. And after when he passed, I wasn't able to focus on anything else. I was just sitting in the edge of my seat, just my head in my hands, just done. I had no idea like what to think, and I could only pay attention to the rest of it after I saw it the second time. But it totally wrecked me, and that was by far the best moment in the entire movie. The other good moments were Cap wielding Mjolnir. Definitely, like that was the loudest I ever got in the theater, and seeing like that made me a Cap fan. I'm usually not a Cap fan, but that was pretty cool. Um, Josh Brolin as Thanos was amazing. He did a way better job, I think, in this than he did in Infinity War. Well, kind of. They were both like they're both they were both fantastic, and his weapon was awesome. Fat Thor was the to me the best comedy of the whole movie. Um, I loved the Big Lebowski esque type thing he did. Um, the part I was most interested in and like enjoyed the most out of the time travel was where they went back to Avengers, like first Avengers headquarters with Loki to get the Space Stone, and then when they went back to get the Space Stone again and the Pym particle at the base, and where Tony got to walk with his dad. That was really powerful, and just this whole movie, like seeing how Tony was so skinny and worn out and close to death was very, very intimidating and very just like heartbreaking to watch, even though it was way worse at the end. And the only like thing I just didn't really like about the movie was because I was expecting a very cool introduction to Hulk, but I guess that was alright. But it wasn't my favorite. I felt like they could have done something way cooler. I did like the character though that he played. I did like that he was able to reverse a snap. That was very that was a really cool scene. Um, where when Hulk busted out the door and knocked Tony out in Avengers 1. That was fucking hilarious, and how they incorporated everything like that. Also, Cap versus Cap was amazing. Um, just such the best MCU movie to date. Like everything about this was perfect.
True.
Literally, I was thinking after like this is by far the like, and Iron Man one's my personal favorite, but as far as the the perfect movie made, like the best top one, Endgame hits that on marks. Especially like just the final battle scene with the Avengers assemble, and then having all of them charge at Thanos' army. Truly just, what a scene, man. It made the whole movie. It made the whole movie. But what? No, that didn't make the whole movie. What made the whole movie and the final full circle and the perfect end to the battle was without a doubt when Thanos goes, I am the inevitable, whatever, blah, and then
Inevitable.
inevitable, yeah, and then snap, nothing, and you see Tony on his knees, and he has the stones in his hand, and they line up, and he goes, I am Iron Man, and snap. That just gives me goosebumps right now. That was so perfect. Just it was the best, and it hurts me to think that he's dead, but it was fantastic, and I give this movie a 10 out of 10.
10
No,
out
no,
of
no, 11 out of 10. My bad, 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10. Oh, I haven't thought about it. Should I break the scale for this movie?
I broke it. No, 11 out of 10.
12 out of 10.
You know what? Let's do it. I'm gonna break the scale. I'll count it. 11 out of 10. Sounds good. All right, Tyler, you're up.
He already went.
Oh man, where do I even start? I guess I'll just start at the beginning. Hawkeye's family gets dusted, which we all kind of expected. I think a lot of us had that prediction for the intro, just to show you how dark this movie is and the effects on Infinity War. After that, we got the farm planet. Basically, they all travel there. Or well, before that, actually, Captain Marvel saves Tony right at the start of the movie, which kind of surprised me. Honestly, I thought Tony would be in space for maybe like half an hour. But man, when Tony gets back, that talk between Tony and Steve, like right when they get off, when Tony says, "I tried to stop him, and so did I," and yeah, that hurt to listen to, and especially when Tony told Tony told Cap, "I lost the kid." Jeez, yep, that hurt. Then we move on to the farm planet, and yeah, we were all confused. They killed the biggest villain possibly of all time in like the first 15, 10, 15, 20 minutes of the film, and we were really confused. Moving on, I'll just go through some moments that I wrote down that I can think of. First, I'll go through the whole time travel thing. The Battle of New York was probably one of my favorite parts, except for the third act. Just the Battle of New York had, first of all, the Ancient One, who was honestly probably my favorite part from the Battle of New York, besides Loki. She just knew everything that was happening. She knew about Doctor Strange, how he was like the best of all time, the best sorcerer of all time. And he wasn't even like at that time yet, like at that point yet. He was still doing surgery. Other parts of the Battle of New York obviously was Cap versus Cap. That was one of the best moments, especially when 2012 Cap goes, "I can do this all day," and I know. That was funny. My favorite part, absolutely, of that whole scene was when Loki got the Tesseract. Man, I yelled in the theater. I I thought Loki was gonna become the real big bad, since we didn't really have a big bad at that moment, since Thanos was dead and the 2014 Thanos was not really around yet. I thought, man, they're gonna be chasing around Loki now, huh? But probably not. That's it could be the Disney Plus series. We'll see what happens there. And the elevator scene with Captain America, like you guys said earlier, just my theater started cheering just right as that scene got recreated. We all expected a fight to break out, but it didn't. But the Hail Hydra moment just was hilarious. My entire theater started clapping and just laughing. Moving on from that, right before everyone time travels, Natasha goes to Steve, "I'll see you in a second," and yep, that leads to Hawkeye versus Natasha on Vormir, which I feel like was an amazing scene. Just those two Avengers, they're known as like they're the weaker ones, we want to say, because they don't got powers, and just they have so much good
Well,
chemistry
same with
behind.
Tony. Tony doesn't have powers.
Yeah, but that is
She has
true.
a
But
suit of armor.
that is true. But just when you think of the Avengers, you always put Black Widow and
Yeah.
Hawkeye at the bottom of your
I
list.
also love how they played the score even for you when Thanos threw Gamora off that cliff. They,
Yep.
they
Oh,
played
yeah.
that same
Yep.
score.
I was not going to mention that. That's a good point. That was really good. Like we all knew they were going to Vormir, and we all knew what was going to happen. One of them was dying. Just the fight they had at the top of that was just really emotional, and like you said, the music playing really did it, and their acting really sold it. I'm really glad they did not kiss because it really looked like they were going to. So
Could you
that
imagine if they actually
that would have
kissed?
killed the moment for me.
That would have killed Hawkeye with his wife. I mean, what the-
Yeah.
That would have killed.
it
I
really did
really
look
thought
like
it
it, though. I thought they were.
I thought they were for sure.
Like,
Um,
wow.
But yeah, Natasha ends up dying. It was a really good scene. Moving on from that one, I'll just go straight to the third act. Thanos, 2014 Thanos destroys the Avengers HQ, and all the heroes are back, but we don't know that yet for sure. Well, we do know that because of Hawkeye's wife, who has been paying his dead wife's phone bill for 5 years, but what a loyal man that is. Anyways, so yeah, Thanos blows up the HQ. Everyone's all separated, and Hawkeye is the one with the gauntlet. And it just becomes this big relay race once everyone gets back. It goes from Hawkeye to T'Challa to Peter to Carol, and then who gets it after that? Does anyone? Thanos does after that.
Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos does.
So yeah, there's that big thing. What else do I have? Of course, the two big moments in this movie is Cap wielding Mjolnir, and just that scene was just my theater just started cheering so loud. I was really hoping for it to happen. We saw the hammer move, and we're just like, it's gonna happen. I kind of thought it would happen right when Thor got it back at the Dark World, or 2013, I guess. Whatever, you get it. So yeah.
No, I don't get it. What?
Thor got it in
I'm
2013.
joking.
Yeah. Before that, I really loved Thor dual wielding the two hammers. That was really cool. Cap breaking his shield just like the Age of Ultron Vision, and the last part, not really the last part, but the topic of the last little section here is obviously the giant team up scene, with it starting with a Winter Soldier reference with Sam saying "on your left" and everyone showing up, Cap yelling "Avengers assemble," and it's, in my opinion, the best scene in the MCU. Everything else has been passed. You got Thor on the Bifrost, Thor in Wakanda, you got the Power Stone scene. We've all said our favorite scenes throughout the last 10 weeks, 11 weeks. This beats all of it, in my opinion. Just everyone's here. You got 11 years of payoff. Some stuff I pointed out in that is Hope was making fun of Scott for calling Steve Cap, and what does she call him in this movie? Cap. Like I said earlier, the gauntlet relay race is kind of fun. I'll call it. Tony hugging Peter when he sees him again, and Peter being really confused because he thought it was just he passed out or whatever he said. Cap when he saw Peter basically dying, he just screams "Queens" and throws the hammer. And when Spidey starts swinging on it, that was just like, you never think you'll see that in a movie, especially since the whole Sony deal issues like years ago. You never think that's gonna happen. And then he goes up to Valkyrie and Pepper and her suit, and I'm just really glad Korg, Meek, and Valkyrie, as a huge Ragnarok fan, they all made it into that last fight.
Also, now Tom Holland is the only actor to
Is he in
portray
the lead?
Spider-Man in 4 movies.
Yeah,
Nobody.
Damn,
Yeah,
really?
he's the.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought he beat that like last year.
No, last year was
No,
3.
that was 3. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War,
Yeah.
not Endgame.
And now
Um,
Far From Home 5. Jeez.
and then the last part I will talk about that scene is I really liked when Carol showed up to Peter, and he was just all really nervous, and I don't know what, just I think it was Brie Larson's acting, just how she said hi Peter Parker. Just that was just really funny to me, just because she's this strongest person in the universe according to Kevin Feige, and here's little
Yeah, I
Peter
like
Parker.
that scene too.
I love that scene so much.
Yeah. And then we get a wrap up on all of the big 3. You got Tony. I will hit first. Sorry, Shawn. Tony sacrifices himself by snapping his fingers and killing Thanos' entire army. I was really confused because that Thanos took like 10 years to dust away, but
That's what you
that
didn't
was a really
like?
good scene. No, I didn't. No, I like it. Just I was kind of confused at first. I thought he was gonna live.
No, he died.
Yeah, he died. I just want to say Thor did it first. Anyways, that death scene though was really just with everyone, like the main characters that Tony has an attachment to is Rhodes, Pepper, and Peter. Especially Pepper. Those 2 are the ones that basically started this all. When Pepper said, "It's gonna be okay, you can rest now," man, that one hurt.
Tears.
When she said you can, like, she had this smile, and then when she started breaking down, I started breaking down. I held it in though for now. And then the funeral, just everyone was there. They were all in there with their own little franchises. The Ant-Man group was all together. The Captain America group was all together with Sam and Bucky. Guardians were all together. Even Harley from Iron Man 3 was there.
Which I called.
Yeah. I kind of thought it would from the 10-year anniversary photo shoot, but I didn't think they would actually bring him in. But I'm kind of surprised they did. But yeah, Tony and Tasha dies. Those 2 hurt. The other 2, Thor, he passes on the leadership of New Asgard to Valkyrie, which I am really happy about. Hopefully we see something with that. I don't know if we will. Also something about New Asgard, I don't know if you guys noticed, it's in like Norway.
Mhm.
Norway, that city, I don't know what it is. It was where Red Skull found the Space Stone originally, and it was also where Thor and Blue Dude, I don't know his name, fought in the first Thor movie in the flashback. I don't know if you guys caught that, but Valkyrie's the new leader. Yeah, yeah, you're right. And basically Thor looks like he is joining the Guardians. So as Guardians of the Galaxy is real. I just really wished we saw Quill's reaction of Thor being fat, because after the whole this is a dude this is a dude, or you're a dude, this is a man, that's the quote. Yeah, that would have been funny to see. And then the last one I will hit is Steve Rogers, who got a happy ending, and I'm really glad he did. It starts with the whole taking the stones back to its to when they took it. I really wish we saw Cap return the Soul Stone. That would have been quite awkward. But he did not come back. Bucky knew, I think, that he was not coming back. He said, "I'll miss you." But I think Bucky knew that Steve was not coming back because he was not surprised at all once old man Steve was on the bench. And we see Steve pass the torch to Sam. So I wonder if that will play into the Disney Plus series. And we see Cap have a ring on, and we know he got his happy ending with Peggy, which Steve and Peggy have always been like my favorite couple from the MCU. They have I feel like they have the best chemistry, maybe besides Tony and Pepper, since they've had the most movies together. But the final shot of Steve and Peggy dancing was just like, when did First Avenger come out? 2011. That was just 8 years of payoff there, and the entire movie is just 11 years of payoff. It rewards you for knowing all of the movies. If you don't know the movies, you might be a little lost, but it's just a perfect ending, in my opinion, to the entire saga. I will probably put this at number 1 on my MCU list and my comic book list just in general. I think it passes The Dark Knight and Logan and all of those. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. A plus, highest grade possible.
Yep, 10 out of 10. Sounds good. All right, Hound, you're up with your review. Go ahead.
All right, this is gonna be pretty crazy. So since I saw the movie a few days ago, I am obviously in no shape to give an actual review because I'm still in awe of all I saw. So I'm just gonna list the really cool things I liked and also some things I really didn't like. One of the things was Russo's straight up lied to us. They said and Kevin Feige, they said the trailer TV spots all from the first 20 minutes of the movie, when they included so many shots from the third act, was like, yo, why did you lie to us, fam? Like, are you serious? And then my theater, like, for Infinity War, there weren't any like clapping or cheering. And like when I went to Endgame, it felt like I was at a wrestling event, like really, because when Thor said, "I went for the head," everybody started clapping and cheering. It was awesome, and like they really did cut off Thanos' head on screen. Like I saw Thanos' head leave his body on screen, and I'm surprised they did that with like, since like kids watch Avengers movies and like it's made by Disney kinda. So, I'm super surprised they did that. I'm so glad that they actually went through with that. And Spider-Man returning, yo, that was one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie. Like Star-Lord came flying in, and they're like, "Yo, where's Spider-Man? Where's Spider-Man?" He comes swinging in from the back at Titan. He lands, his mask comes off, and the theater also erupted. And then when Cap flew Mjolnir, and Spider-Man, like he was fly, like Spider-Man was swinging on Mjolnir with the Infinity Gauntlet. What else could you even say a sentence like that? Like we saw that in live action in the movie. That's like a thing you would only see in a comic book. Like how that is just so awesome. And then uh obviously Captain America saying Avengers Assemble, showing all the other Marvel heroes that have been in the MCU except for Quicksilver, which sucks. And I feel like that's gonna be the new big shot that everybody uses instead of the one from Avengers with the circle shot, and it's also like better. And the A-Force tease, I loved Captain Marvel in this movie. I loved her a lot better in this movie than in her actual first solo outing when she said, "Hi, Peter Parker." Oh, I love that scene so much. Like, like she just seems so nice. She's like, "Oh, hi, Peter Parker." And then when she like, and like when Thanos' ships were aiming at her, like she was like, what's that? What are they shooting at? What are they aiming at through the sky? Then here she comes and just bucks up Thanos' ship, and Thanos' whole ship just goes down, and Ant-Man becoming giant and everybody running against Thanos' army is something you would only see in a comic book and in like a big secret war event or like any other comic book event. Like the one they're having right now is War of Realms, I think it's called. Like a big event comic. That's literally what it was in the movie. Like, and that's it. And like Scott like punched down the alien snake thing from the sky. Fat Thor was amazing. Like that was like one of the funniest stuff from the movie. Thor dual wielding two hammers at once, so badass. The A4Cs as well. Rocket was a standout from this movie. I really loved his development, and his suit was pretty cool. Professor Hulk I liked a lot. One of the some of the jokes come from him were like great, and his reveal was kind of like anticlimactic, to be honest. It was because I was expecting for it to be something else, or maybe like a Watcher from like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but it turned out to be Professor Hulk, and that was a great scene. Ant-Man really was the key to saving the universe, and also that the Ant-Man was just great. Like Endgame solidified Ant-Man, Scott Lang version, as one of the best characters in the MCU, honestly. And Cap, like holding up Mjolnir, beating the shit out of Thanos. Like when he got in that pose, like Syed said, he got in that pose and he started running. He started swinging the hammer. The lightning came down. Like my theater erupted. That was like the loudest. Like besides any other wrestling thing, that was the loudest pop I've heard in my life for even a movie thing. Like I'm so glad I got Thursday night opening tickets. Like that is something you experience once in a lifetime, and I'm so glad I got to experience that. And I wish I filmed it to so I could just relive that memory of everyone screaming like yeah, woo!
That's illegal.
That's called
You
irony.
when I saw the yellow light, the yellow circle come from behind of Captain America, I was like, yo, they did it. The snapped heroes are back, and they're back. And then Doctor Strange just comes in. Black Panther comes in with Okoye and Shuri. That was awesome to see. And then Doctor Strange was like, Wong was like, you wanted more? And then Doctor Strange was like, and I think that Strange. Oh yeah, I guess Peter kind of confirmed they were in the Soul Stone, maybe, because he said like, "Oh, we passed out," and then Strange said, "It's 5 years now, Peter. It's time to go," and then he just like showed up. So maybe Strange was like the only one present, like inside the Soul Stone or something crazy like that. And
No, because Doctor Strange saw the future, so he knows it's been 5 years, dumbass.
Oh, yeah. And then the Avengers scene, as Tyler said, what was one of the great scenes in the movie with the ancient one, Oh, like I really thought they were gonna recreate that scene from Winter Soldier with the elevator fight scene. Like I'm so glad Cap said, "Hail Hydra." That was such an awesome scene. And Hulk not having to use the stairs, and he got mad at everyone like, "Hulk, no use stairs." That was like amazing. And like as soon as
So with that, the movie we rated was 10.2 out of 10. It's a crazy thing to say, but that's what we gave it. So yeah, that's our non-spoiler review for Avengers Endgame. Too low, says Tyler. Well, we'll see how Cam scores it next week, and we'll give you guys an updated score and another spoiler talk with Cam next week.